In previous episodes of this survival let's play series, I've just had this nether portal with no protection at all. So today it's finally time to create this. I managed to transform this sorry excuse for a makeshift base to this awesome survival cottage, so strap in to see how I did it and why this location is so special. I started off by building the archway around the door. The exact method you don't do when it comes to building a house, but this is a kid's computer game. After that, I started to add some glass panes to provide a nice entrance to the base. After that, I proceeded to ramble and choose where I wanted to fit the nether portal. I wanted it inside the base, otherwise it would get annoying having to run outside to access the nether. After taking 346 years to break the obsidian, I started to make the portal. Cool. After that, I started using oak planks to create the interior walls. I really wanted a functional furnace system, so I decided to stick them all in this wall here. As the sun started to set, I wanted to prioritize getting the foundations all set so I can purely focus on the inside. I added some more stripped birch logs to the top and bottom of the door and decided to ditch the glass panes because I kept walking into them instead of the door when running away from zombies. I don't see why not. I don't see why it wouldn't be annoying. Oh, that would be really annoying. Okay, nope. I thought it was clever, it's not. For the floor, I added cobbled deep slate, which I think is a really nice block and a great contrast to the lighter oak logs. Now that it was nighttime, I didn't want any creepers sneaking up on me, so I added some oak logs for the roof just to keep me safe for the next couple of nights. Now that a new day has passed and the roof is done, the next step was to add lighting to not have any more unwanted guests spawning. After that, I added some deep slate stairs. Alrighty, so after coming back from my base again, I am going to trying to build this section here. Now the fun part was the enchanting area. I decided to build this inside the wall because why not? I didn't want to make the base so big underneath that there's a lot of empty space, so having it inside and part of the structure was the next best thing. But because I didn't plan these things, I built it wrong and needed one more layer deeper in the wall to fit the enchanting table and for me to not stand on the stairs. Go enjoy killing the things that you like doing. For this base, one of the textures I decided to add was chiseled stone bricks, since there's a lot of natural stone surrounding the base anyway. But in order to do that, I had to go down to the nether to grab some lava buckets to make them. So while that was cooking, I had some leftover slabs from a previous project and decided to make it into a shelf system just to spice things up a bit and to put things on top of it. Oh. Clearly, it didn't work. Guys, you know how much I love the glowberries, so... Sustainable food source. For the win. It's good because all this cobblestone that I'm breaking is going to be used to make all the stone on the side. So quick update, I didn't want to dig too far down and not have enough lights and all this other stuff so the stuff would be spawning and kind of ruin everything, so I spent some time just fixing up this sort of situation. I added in some oak just to give it a bit of texture and also to kind of resemble like a mine shaft in a way, how they have those big oak columns and stuff. I've decided to put some chests there and I've put some like of those shroom lights and then I put this over the top just because having this so close to that just made it look weird, but also gave it some lighting, which I thought was cool. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but my fan is going nuts right now. I think these are quite nice. I decided to keep it like that rather than dig into it. I might change it later on, but decided to leave it for now. Yeah, so I found the mine shaft relative to where my base is, and then I decided to dig up to try and find it. Now I need to go get the pistons and everything to make the secret door. Okay, I just realized that this archway is too big. Now onto the special part of the base. I'm going to dig a tunnel into the mine shaft below. For those of you who don't know, the reason why I picked this location was because it was next to a mine shaft, which I plan to exploit these resources later at some point. Now onto my pride and joy of this base. I decided to try a simple redstone door design that I grabbed off YouTube and to make a base more sophisticated than an ugly ass door. Step 1 was to grab the sticky pistons and place those bad boys down. After that, I added a redstone dust in line with the top piston and a redstone torch on the bottom. So when that happens, which is great, Then I dug a 3-block deep hole, only a block wide, to create a space to connect the two set of sticky pistons. 3 blocks deep. After skipping ahead of the YouTube tutorial I had on my phone, thinking that I knew better, I realized I need to make it 2 blocks wide for the trench that we just dug out, not 1. I hope I didn't. Once again, my own arrogance shone through and I needed to make the trench 2 blocks deep and added an ugly ass layer of cobblestone. Now, following the 2-minute tutorial more closely, I added a redstone torch under the torches I originally placed to connect those together and lined it with redstone dust to connect it all. Okay. And then I'm going to break this one, chuck a redstone torch, chuck one here, torches together. Okay. And then I'm going to need to... I wanted to test the system by placing oak blocks where the floor would be with matching pressure plates so the circuit gets activated. But once again, I needed to rewatch the same tutorial and realize that I added one too many redstone dusts, which was stuffing up the circuit, so I broke those. Up? I think I did. Let's try it now. Now that that was all done, I dug underneath the walkway 2 blocks below the floor and lined it with redstone dust to connect the 2 pressure plates with the rest of the system. I tested the system and the sticky pistons moved back, which meant that it was working, so I was pretty stoked about that, considering it took me 15 minutes to make a 2-minute process of a simple redstone door. Yay! Great. We got the door to work, everyone. Now, because all of that was ugly as heck, I decided to cover it up with stone bricks, as you know how much I needed this for my build, and then line the floor with oak planks because I want to make this base all bougie. Looks good. So let's do a walkthrough. Ba-ba-ba. Boom. Now, because my OCD is being triggered, I decided to even out the size of the opposite arch. I made this arch because I want to trick any potential intruders who will enter my base, hoping that they won't discover my secret redstone door. However, since I've been using all my building materials for useless things like lining the floor, I had to explore for 20 minutes outside the birch biome where the base is located to chop down some more trees and to make my base even more flammable than it already is. With some new oak blocks, I decided to create an arch above the doorway to give the entrance some much needed depth and diversity. Oak. Now that we got the shelter all down pat, the next priority was food, and I didn't want this too far away from the base, so I figured a nice little crop garden would be really good. However, the available space next to the base wasn't big enough, so I began to excavate. And once again, because I didn't plan these things properly, I needed to push the wall back again and again, and realized I pushed it back too much, so I cut it short.
Doing a bit of some cheeky landscaping. There we go.
Now with the dark oak I gathered earlier, I decided to add a nice border there, not just for aesthetics but for a fence later on. Now that we have shelter and food, the next priority was to establish safety around this base. Being next to a giant chasm and mineshaft full of mobs, the location I chose also has a giant gaping hole behind my base. Now we can't have that just in case I fall in or if things decide to climb out. So I grabbed one of my many stacks of dirt from the earlier excavation and started to fill it out. To wrap up the base itself, it's time for the roof. I adopted a simple, age-old Minecraft 1.0 technique of creating an arch frame with dark oak blocks, making each row one block taller and then descend back down. I was going to make the entire roof out of the same block, but I couldn't be asked to go back to the forest in the middle of the night and get more wood, so I decided to use dark oak planks instead.
With planks,
After that was done, I decided to make a chimney because you can't have a cottage without a chimney. Now I saw from those silent build cinematic videos that you can make one and then stick a campfire in there for some nice particles. So I did that. But I built it too low and the particles weren't good enough, so I changed it. Now I was going to make a fireplace directly below the chimney, but it was going to go where the nether portal is and I didn't want to change things. Now since I'm a dummy, I didn't realize that the wooden interior and fire do not mix, and I put wood everywhere because I wanted an epic cottage. So I had to fix it by getting rid of all the surrounding wood with the beloved stone brick block again.
fire and house don't mix.
Realizing that I got distracted, I forgot to till the land and add water, so this so-called sustainable food source, so I went and did that. And then I proceeded to fill it with the 12 seeds I have. Now that all the essential elements are in, to tie a nice neat bow around the whole build, I wanted to make this cottage base seem as if it was part of the mountain, so I got to work by adding dirt and stone to the surrounding areas and covering up the oak planks and shroom lights that were visible. Now to make it super duper artistic, I used a shovel and scooped the land to make it a nice path and place fence around it all. Then realizing that the dirt under the fence was the original yucky colour, so once again stone brick makes an appearance. Again.
They do keep you secure. They keep mobs out.
And then bam, filled it up with lanterns so no mobs dare come this way. And here's the finished product. Base build.